Right now at 10, a plan from the Dane County District Attorney focusing on restorative justice. We'll take a closer look at his ideas.
And a bad idea in pictures from northern Wisconsin as a base jumper's daring attempt goes haywire.
Plus, an emotional plea from a former employee at Madison West High School, fired, he says, for telling a student not to use a racial slur.
From the Channel3000.com Alert Center, this is News 3 Now at 10.
And thanks for joining us tonight. Dane County leaders say jail time might not always be the best option.
Tonight, unveiling plans to move into the planning stages to build a new restorative justice facility in the city. Gabriella Becerra has the story.
Dane County District Attorney Ishmael Ozan says restorative justice begins by getting down to the root cause of what drives the behavior in the criminal justice system in addressing crisis, which he says requires judgment, forward thinking, and thoughtfulness.
We really have to start thinking about how can we help people in crisis.
And that's where Dane County District Attorney Ishmael Ozan says a community justice center would be beneficial.
And actually, I think it would be incredible if we could get a community justice center, because I believe that would put positive structure in and around our youth and help us get a better ability to address juvenile issues that we're seeing right now in our community.
Ozan says a center would impact the entire system, making it easier to connect people with resources.
It could be an incredible place for some public-private partnerships in and around mental health, in and around homelessness.
As we look at really the crime spree that is taking over our communities now with the stolen vehicles and home break-ins, we need to look at who these individuals are and what's driving those behaviors and try to address it.
Dane County Sheriff David Mahoney says he supports Ozan's cutting-edge approach to restorative justice.
We've been partners trying to find a smarter way of addressing our criminal justice system, more so than just locking people up.
If we could do something there to then find a permanent place in the community for them and use that as sort of an emergency, taking somebody out of crisis, we would get them to a better place and we would be better for it.
Tonight's event also doubled as a birthday celebration for Ozan, where he announced he will be running for re-election. He was appointed as district attorney back in 2010.
A former West High School staff member has an emotional plea to change the district's zero-tolerance policy after being fired yesterday for using the N-word.
He's filing a grievance with the Madison Metropolitan School District. Marlon Anderson says he only used the N-word to tell a student to stop calling him that. He'd been with the district for 11 years, 3 at West as a security assistant. He was helping after he says a student who refused to leave the school pushed the assistant principal. Anderson says the student used several expletives, calling him the N-word at least 15 times. He says he's tired of hearing the racial slur daily and was trying to be direct when using the N-word to get the student to stop.
My father was called this word, my grandmother, my grandfather, and keep going on down the family line. We were all called this word, and not one of them could say, don't call me that. I can, and I shouldn't be punished because I have the right to tell somebody not to call me this word.
In a statement, the MMSD's Board of Education president says in part, while they've taken a tough stance on racial slurs, quote, we have also heard from the community about the complexity involved, and our duty is to examine it. She has requested a review of their policies be placed on the board's agenda.
4 seasonal wells in Madison have tested positive for PFAS. The city tested the wells for dozens of types of chemicals over the summer and received results earlier this week. Madison Water Utility says well 23 on Leo Drive, well 8 in Old Brick Park, well 17 on South Hancock Street, and well 27 on North Randall Avenue tested positive. That brings the total number of wells where PFAS has been found to 14. However, they say the levels are well below both the acceptable federal and state levels. A 20-year-old base jumper got caught in some cable in Dunn County this morning and is now facing criminal charges for trespassing. The Menominee Police Department, firefighters, and the city street department responded to a call just after 8:30 from a person who became tangled in a wire on the Charter Communications Tower. According to the report, Mason Barth was attempting to jump from atop a 300-foot tower. He called 911 while dangling from his parachute after it got caught in the wire roughly 50 feet above the ground.
Turning things to weather now, meteorologist Dave Caulfield has our first alert forecast. Dave?
Well, Eric, temperatures will jump up into the weekend with highs in the low 60s expected for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Right now, those temperatures are falling into the 30s with clear skies finally in place. We can see a nice shot there of the moon in Madison on the WISC-TV Skycam, currently at 37 degrees, so already in the upper 30s with a calm wind. Those temperatures in the 30s in the Dells, Juneau, Watertown, and Waukesha as well. 41 in Janesville and 43 in Platteville. That's about 5 to 10 degrees cooler in some spots, including Madison, compared to this time on Wednesday. Day planner, temperatures hanging out in the mid to upper 30s overnight with mostly clear skies. But then those temps head into the 40s and 50s throughout the morning hours. We'll be in the low 60s for highs with partly sunny skies tomorrow on the backside of that high pressure system. We'll talk about chances for showers as we head into this weekend in your first alert forecast in just a few minutes.
Dave, thank you. Police have identified the woman accused of shooting her estranged husband last night in Janesville. 43-year-old Nova Suarez of Monona now facing a tentative charge of first-degree intentional homicide. The shooting happened around 9:30 last night at Blackhawk Community Credit Union on Center Avenue. A 48-year-old man was shot in the face while at an ATM. He ran to a nearby gas station where witnesses called for help. He is expected to survive. Sauk County Sheriff's Department took Suarez into custody about 6 this morning. A home invasion overnight has neighbors in the town of Westport on high alert. Deputies from the Dane County Sheriff's Office responded to River Edge Road before 4 o'clock this morning. The victims woke up to the sounds of the suspects in their home. The burglars used a garage door opener from an unlocked vehicle in the driveway. Deputies are still looking for the suspects who took off with car keys and a wallet.
Former Lieutenant Governor Rebecca Clayfish has quit her new job in D.C. and is returning to Wisconsin. In January, she began working as the executive director of the Women's Suffrage Centennial Commission. Clayfish is widely expected to run for governor in 2022. She served 8 years as lieutenant governor under Governor Scott Walker. A bill to rename a post office in Sun Prairie in honor of fallen firefighter Captain Corey Barr has passed the U.S. House of Representatives. The Senate passed bipartisan legislation earlier this summer to make that change. Barr died when a gas leak caused an explosion in downtown Sun Prairie last summer.
Juul, the leading e-cigarette company in the United States, will stop selling flavors that critics say are popular with young vapors. Only tobacco, mint, and menthol flavors will remain for sale in retail stores and only in states that still allow the sale of vaping products. That move is only for the United States. The flavored pods will continue to be sold outside the country. Juul also recently announced it was suspending all broadcast, print, and digital product advertising in the U.S. The 9th Wisconsin Science Festival is bringing in more than 1,000 scientists to share their research. Governor Tony Evers declared 2019 the year of clean drinking water earlier this year, and now the festival is making a splash with its theme Clean Water events for all age groups. They're set up throughout 46 Wisconsin counties, like today's Diversity and Inclusivity in STEM, to talk about a discussion on water justice.
Scientific endeavor, the scientific enterprise, scientists are learning that as important as it is to work in the lab, it's also important to communicate what they do with the public to build mutual dialogue, mutual understanding of science and why we do it.
The statewide festival will run until Sunday. Now, tomorrow, 31 vendors will set up around the Capitol Square to explore bioluminescence and interact with other scientific activities.
Some state-of-the-art technology is on display today at the UW campus. The future of automated travel allow people to experience it firsthand. The Wisconsin DOT and the UW-Madison Transportation Operations and Safety Lab are hosting representatives from across the Midwest, showing off some of the latest technology in automated travel. The UW has been designated as one of the 10 proving ground pilot sites for testing and information sharing around automated vehicle technology. Enrollment at the University of Wisconsin system dropped 2.6% compared to last year. That is down from nearly 4,500 students system-wide last year. However, enrollment on the flagship campus in Madison was up 2%. UW Green Bay, La Crosse, Parkside, and Superior were the only other campuses where enrollment was up.
The Madison Trust for Historic Preservation trying to preserve the cultural history of Madison's old governor's mansion. The group hosted a soiree tonight and invited community members to walk the halls of the 1885 historical landmark where 17 Wisconsin governors once lived.
What is interesting about this building is that we were able to incorporate a lot of the modern technology in an old building while respecting the historic spaces.
And funds raised by the soiree will support the trust so it can continue to preserve Madison's history. Still ahead tonight, your full forecast as we near the weekend.
But first, big box, co-op, or online. A closer look at which grocery option is the best fit for your budget. Stay with us. Welcome back. There is no shortage of grocery stores across the metro area, and that, of course, means a lot of choices for how you feed your family.
But if you find yourself trying to get the best bang for your buck, News 3 Now's Josh Sprider shows you how to find affordable groceries in Madison.
It's just nice to feel like you're buying things that are fresh.
Marcy DeGrief is always in search of the best deals at the grocery store.
Trying to feed a family of 4, you do try to take advantage of sales when you can.
What makes it even more difficult, the mother of 2 wants to find local produce and local meat especially.
Most importantly, I usually look for local farms, and then from there, I may price out between a couple different places.
She says she usually ends up at the Willie Street Co-op, where she can buy just the right amount of food she needs to feed her family.
Sometimes bulk means buying 12 or 24 of things, but for us it means buying as much or as little as you need.
The Co-op's Brendan Smith says you often get better deals buying from the bulk aisle because of the savings on packaging and transportation. Bulk meaning taking home exactly what you need.
If you just need a tablespoon of cinnamon or a cup of flour, you can buy just that amount.
That's also one of the tips registered dietitian nutritionist Emmy Bodden has for grocery shoppers. But before you go to the store, your work starts at home.
The first thing that I do myself is kind of look up the deals. So whether it's the grocery store's weekly circular or the deals that are in the grocery store's own app.
Then find what's right for you and your family. So if produce is your focus, she says find what store has your favorite products and go from there. Also, don't skip the frozen foods aisle because it can save you time and money.
Frozen foods can be picked at their prime, they're frozen at their prime, and they're shipped frozen. So they retain their nutritional value, and being picked at their prime, they often have that higher nutritional value to start with.
And if you're really trying to save money,
shopping local can save you some money, and it can ensure, like you said, that products don't take a long time to get to you. That can retain a lot of the nutritional value too. Plus it supports local businesses, which is always a good thing.
that means staying away from meal kit delivery companies you often see online, even though the food conveniently comes right to your door with all the ingredients.
I think that you can get a lot more bang for your buck if you're purchasing individual ingredients and making your own meal out of them versus getting those ingredients pre-cut, pre-chopped, and pre-packaged sent to you. That really ups the price tag without upping the portion size too.
Marcy tells me she will continue to find the best deals and shop locally.
I very much like the feeling of knowing where the food comes from.
She encourages others not to take the abundance of options for granted after living in parts of the country where it just doesn't exist.
Accessibility is huge here to be able to get those things, unless you're growing it yourself, which is obviously the best way to do it, but we don't have time for that.
In Madison, Josh Spreiter, News 3 Now.
If you have any questions on how to save at the grocery store, you can find a link to Real Good Nutrition at channel3000.com.
Our Coats for Kids distribution is underway, and our friends Josh Spreiter, Susan Simon, and Hattie McLean volunteered this morning at the Community Action Coalition on Madison's Far East Side. Volunteers have received more than 4,400 coats, as well as a number of hat and glove donations, but they could use even more. The organization is looking for more volunteers to distribute coats. If you would like to help, you can head to volunteeryourtime.org and search Coats for Kids.
That'd be a good day to go shop for your coat tomorrow because you may not need it. We're going to warm up a little bit. Should be nice.
Yeah,
Is that what I'm hearing?
temperatures in the 60s, which is, I mean, it's only a couple of degrees more than what we have been experiencing, but that sunshine makes a big difference outside. And we had those stubborn clouds again this afternoon, but we did get that sunshine eventually back, helping to create this beautiful photo in Cuba City, Grant County. Jackson, thank you for sending this in. I love that fall color that's starting to pop basically all across southern Wisconsin. There are some areas where we're not exactly at peak yet. We need to wait a couple more days. It's been a little bit later this year, just given all the rain that we've had, and also the temperatures not exactly lining up as to peak performance of these leaves, if you will. So Madison's still at about 80%, so we need a couple more days. But this weekend, with plenty of sunshine on Friday and on Sunday, might be a good weekend to head out and go for some leaf watching. Now, from fall to winter, we actually had NOAA release the 2019-2020 Winter Outlook today, and it had some interesting ideas in it, shall we say. Now, as far as temperature goes, there's really not a clear signal above or below normal as to what temperatures this winter will bring. However, with precipitation, that's a little bit of a different story. It looks like this wetter than normal pattern that we've been in for much of the year is set to continue for this winter and into early next year across much of the upper Midwest. Chances are looking pretty good. So we'll see if that does continue. Does that necessarily mean more snow? Well, we still have to pay attention to those temperatures, but we may need to have that umbrella more often than not. Not today, though. Really, really quiet on radar across much of the upper Midwest. Really, a lot of the country is pretty quiet on radar. Madison on the Edgewater Skycam, besides maybe some aircraft there, not really much going on. And of course, a beautiful capital. That's goes without saying. Temperatures today in the low 50s, so about 10 degrees below normal for this time of year. Rain chances staying low for the rest of tonight and into Friday. However, on Saturday, as a cold front comes through, it's a pretty weak front. We still could see a few showers during the late morning and early afternoon hours of Saturday. So I think that's the best chance of seeing those rain chances go up for this weekend. Overnight, temperatures dipping into the upper 30s. We're actually right there now, so we'll be in the 30s, a little bit on the chilly side overnight, and mostly clear. Temperatures in the low 60s for tomorrow, partly sunny, breezy, and a little bit milder than we've been used to over the past couple of days. We're helped out by a southerly wind that gets here tomorrow on the backside of that high pressure system, helping to shift those winds. And we'll be in the low 60s, maybe some in the upper 50s, but plenty of sunshine on the way for tomorrow. That's not necessarily the case as we head into Saturday. You can see that cold front setting up to our west during the morning hours, then moving in during that late morning and early afternoon time frame. But really, it moves out of here quickly And as far as rain totals go, not too much. Just a few drops for basically everybody. About 1/10 to 2/10 of an inch of rain expected with that first round of showers. Now, there could be a secondary round as another system moves through on Sunday night into Monday as we take a look at that 10-day forecast. A few rumbles of thunder not out of the question either on Monday. Tuesday, we should dry out. We're in the low 50s Tuesday and Wednesday. Another chance for some showers on Thursday. And by the time we get into next weekend, we're pushing into basically the end of October. By that point, we should get into the 40s for highs. So chillier weather on the way. Just in time, really when you would expect it. And temperatures are pretty close to normal this weekend, but a little bit warmer than we've been used to.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, Dave. Badger football team hitting the road for the first time in almost 2 months. We'll look ahead to the trip to Champaign next in sports.
The WIA State Individual Girls Tennis Tournament begins today at Nielsen Tennis Stadium. Monona girls' Haley Munns is the 12th seed. She'll play tomorrow because Munns won both of her matches today. Those 2 wins puts her season match record at 23-9. Verona's Meredith Conley is the 11th seed, and the Wildcat senior is also into the 3rd round as she wins her 2 matches today. And Conley improves her season record to 26-3. And Madison West has 2 Brummels in the 3rd round. This is Maddie Bremmel, seeded 10th. She's now 33-5. And Abby Bremmel, the 16th seed, is now 32-6 this season. The state championship matches are Saturday. After 5 straight home games, the Badger football team is on the road for the first time in almost 2 months. The Badgers and Illini play in Champaign at 11 a.m. Saturday. The atmosphere at an Illinois football game is a lot different than one at Camp Randall. It'll be a little milder than the Badgers are used to, so Paul Chris says you have to make your own energy.
Anytime you go on the road, it's going to come from you. It has to start with you. And we're fortunate, and we've got fans that travel and support us, and you appreciate that. But I think that's always one of the things that maybe is a little bit harder when you play on the road, but you kind of look forward to, and that's, you know what, this is where it's got to come from. It's right here in this room, and so getting back on the road, we haven't played a road game for a while. It'll be good. It'll be good for our team, and certainly looking forward to it.
The Packers and Oakland Raiders play Sunday at noon at Lambeau Field. The game is on CBS and News 3 now. This is the final game of a nice stretch of the schedule for the Packers. They've had 5 of their first 7 games at home. And it's going to get a little tougher at Kansas City and at the Chargers the next 2 weeks after this.
This is an important stretch for us, and we got to make sure we're locked in, understanding everything's right in front of us. It's a deep NFC, and you look in our own division. We got some great teams in our division, so it's going to be an important stretch for us coming up, and we got to put ourselves in position to be right there in the mix. Come December football.
The Prep Mania High School football game of the week is probably the game of the year. Wanakee and DeForest both undefeated. We're live at 7 tomorrow night on channel3000.com with Wanakee at DeForest. The Badger women's soccer team off to its best start ever in the Big Ten, 6-0. Wisconsin hosts Iowa at McClyman tonight. Badgers trail 2-1, but in the 73rd minute, Danny Rhodes converts on a penalty kick, her team-leading 8th goal of the season. Final score, Wisconsin 2, Iowa 2. The Badgers now 6-0-1 in the Big Ten. And 1 week from tonight, the Milwaukee Bucks open the 2019-2020 NBA regular season when they play at Houston. Tonight, the final preseason game at Fiserv Forum against the Minnesota Timberwolves. Wesley Matthews could be a pretty valuable addition this season. The former Madison Memorial and Marquette star gets the first points of the game. He had 5 tonight. Every night, at least once, Giannis goes end-to-end for a dunk. And there it is, 26 points, 14 rebounds for Giannis. Final score, Bucks 118, T-Wolves 96. Bucks go 5-0 in the preseason. And we'll be right back.
Let's go, Dave. Final check.
Yeah, we have some clear skies tonight, allowing those temperatures to make it into the upper 30s already in Madison. And as we get into the rest of tonight, we'll stay mostly clear and cool. Those temps hanging out in the 30s, so a little bit on the chilly side, but we'll be milder tomorrow. Low 60s with partly sunny skies, a little bit on the breezy side as well. A couple showers on Saturday, and then as we get into Sunday and Monday, most of the day on Sunday will be dry, but then showers at night into Monday, some rumbles of thunder, not out of the question, and cooler for next week.
All right, Dave, thank you very much. Thanks for joining us for News 2 Now at 10.
Do something good, and we'll see you back here tomorrow.